Welcome back to the deep dive, everyone. In this world of Web3, things move so incredibly fast.
Blink and you miss something.
Exactly. Innovation isn't just like a nice to have, it's the absolute engine. And you really see that fire burning bright on Solana right now, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Solana's just become this hotbed for new ideas, new platforms popping up, it seems like every week.
Right. And we've all seen projects launch, make a big noise. Some stick around, some, well, they fade. But what if a new platform could come in, challenge the big guys, the established giants, and do it super fast?
Yeah.
And at the same time, build in these really clever ways to keep growing sustainably, and maybe, most importantly, build real investor confidence right from the start.
Okay, now you're talking about something interesting. That's the dream, isn't it? Sustainable confidence.
Well, that's exactly the scenario we're diving into today, because there's this name that hasn't just shown up, it's pretty much exploded onto the scene. Heaven.
Heard the name.
Yeah. And look, it's not just another Launchpad or just another place to trade. It's a Solana-based Launchpad and an automated market maker, an AMM. And honestly, it's grabbed everyone's attention with, well, its vision and just, frankly, staggering early numbers.
Right. And maybe just for a quick refresher for everyone listening, even if you're deep in crypto, it's good to be on the same page. A Launchpad, that's where new crypto projects do their first token sales. Think IDOs, initial DEX offerings.
Yeah, the starting gate.
Exactly. The gateway for new tokens to hit the market, find their first users. And the AMM part, the automated market maker, that's the engine for decentralized trading. It uses liquidity pools, not old school order books, so you can swap tokens without needing a middleman.
Got it.
And these two things together, Launchpad and AMM, they are absolutely vital. They're like the circulatory system for new projects, for the health of DeFi overall.
So what's our mission today with Heaven?
Well, our mission today is to really unpack this Heaven's meteoric rise. We need to get into the weeds on its unique God Flywheel tokenomics. That's what they call it.
The God Flywheel. Intriguing.
It promises this kind of self-feeding value loop. We'll also look really closely at the team's commitment. They've done something pretty unusual with their token lockup, signaling long-term belief.
Okay.
And of course, we have to talk about the competition. This emerging rivalry, it seems quite intense, actually, with a big player, Pump.fun.
Pump.fun, yeah, the incumbent.
Right. So by the end of this, we really want to understand what makes Heaven stand out in what's, let's be honest, a very crowded market. What can we learn from it? And, could it actually be setting new benchmarks for how launchpads work, especially on Solana? It's a really compelling mix of, smart design meeting, just explosive demand.
And when you say explosive demand, I mean, wow,
Yeah.
the numbers Heaven put up right out of the gate are just hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Get this. The platform launched around August 15th, so we're talking, just over a week?
Barely, yeah.
In that time, it has processed nearly $350 million in lifetime volume.
Wow, $350 million.
$350 million. Now, for a brand new platform in a space this competitive, that's not just, good.
Yeah.
It's almost unheard of, isn't it?
It really is. It's an anomaly. That kind of number, you usually associate that with protocols that have been around for months, maybe even years, building up trust, building up liquidity.
So what does lifetime volume actually mean here for a Launchpad and AMM?
Right. Good question. So lifetime volume is basically the grand total value of everything that's gone through the protocol since it switched on.
Yeah.
Every token sale on the Launchpad, every buy, every sell, every swap on the AMM side, it all gets added up.
Okay.
And hitting $350 million in, 7-8 days? That tells you a few things, loud and clear. First, there was obviously huge pent-up demand for whatever Heaven is offering on Solana. People weren't just testing the waters, they jumped in big time, trading, launching at scale. Second, it suggests the tech holds up. It can handle that kind of massive transaction load right away, which isn't always a given.
True. We've seen launches crumble under pressure.
Exactly. And third, it means the market, or a big chunk of it, saw Heaven as credible, as valuable almost instantly. That's like finding product market fit on day one. It's a powerful signal. Many projects, even well-funded ones, take way longer to get anywhere near that kind of activity. So yeah, that initial traction is significant.
Okay, incredible activity, incredible volume. But you always say volume alone isn't the whole story, right? It's about whether that activity actually creates real sustainable value for the protocol itself.
Precisely. Volume can be vanity, revenue is sanity, as the saying goes.
Yeah. So what's the sanity check here? Did this massive volume turn into actual earnings for Heaven?
It absolutely did. And this is just as impressive, maybe even more so. In that same short time frame, Heaven generated $3.8 million in protocol revenue.
Okay, $3.8 million. That's not the total value traded. That's the protocol's cut.
Exactly. That's the net revenue captured by the Heaven protocol. In Web3, protocol revenue is the income the platform makes from its actual operations. So for Heaven, that's coming from, tiny fees on all those trades happening on the AMM, maybe fees for projects using the Launchpad for their IDOs.
Right.
And getting to $3.8 million, this fact is huge because it proves the business model works. It's not just hype, it's capturing real economic value. This revenue is what lets the protocol keep running, fund its own development without just burning through initial investment money. And crucially, as we'll get into, it fuels their tokenomics.
Ah, okay. Connecting the dots.
Yeah, it's a critical sign of health. It shows Heaven isn't just attracting eyeballs, it's efficiently monetizing its usefulness. This kind of rapid revenue often points to strong fundamentals, a real need being met.
Okay, let's unpack the Solana angle a bit more. Heaven is built on Solana. How much does that foundation being on Solana really play into this kind of speed, this volume, this revenue? Is Heaven just brilliant, or is Solana the secret sauce here?
Oh, it's definitely not just Heaven being brilliant, although their design is clearly effective. Solana's architecture isn't just like a supporting actor here. It's absolutely fundamental. It's arguably a co-star.
Okay. How so?
Well, Solana is famous for two things, right? Super high transaction speed and incredibly low fees.
The selling points.
Exactly. Now think about processing hundreds of millions in volume, thousands of token launches, all within a week. You need a blockchain that can just handle that fire hose of activity without, grinding to a halt or making every transaction cost a fortune.
Yeah, you'd kill the momentum otherwise.
Precisely. Solana provides that infrastructure. Its performance means a much smoother, faster experience for Heaven's users. Less slippage on trades, quicker launches for projects. That efficiency is a huge draw.
Makes sense.
And there's another layer, too. Solana has really nurtured this vibrant ecosystem specifically around IDOs and new token launches, especially the more experimental stuff. There's a big developer community building there and a huge user base actively looking for these early-stage chances.
Right, the Solana Degen crowd, some might say.
Well, yeah, there's certainly an element of that high-risk, high-reward seeking behavior, but also genuine interest in innovation. So you have this built-in appetite on Solana, combined with its powerful tech. It creates this incredibly fertile ground for something like Heaven to just take off.
So it's a synergy then?
Absolutely. Heaven uses Solana's speed to offer a great experience, and Heaven's success then makes Solana look even better as the place for DeFi and launchpads. You see sources like Blockmate's root data, CoinLive, they all mention Heaven's metrics on Solana, emphasizing that link. It's hard to imagine seeing this exact story, this speed, on a slower, more expensive chain. Solana is definitely enabling this.
Okay, that connection is clear.
Yeah.
Now, beyond these crazy initial numbers, you mentioned something called the Autolite God Flywheel Tokenomics. That sounds intense. This seems to be where the really deep strategy comes in. So what is this God Flywheel? How does it actually work, and why do they think it's such a big deal?
Right, the God Flywheel. This is probably Heaven's crown jewel, the core innovation. It's a really meticulously designed economic model built around their native token, which is called LightGST.
Okay, LightGST.
The absolute core of it, the power source, is actually pretty simple, but the implications are huge. Here it is. 100%. Every single bit of all protocol revenue.
That $3.8 million so far and everything going forward.
Exactly. All of it is automatically, programmatically used to buy back LightGST tokens directly from the open market.
Automatically buys its own token.
Programmatically. So let's break down the flywheel idea first. Imagine a really heavy wheel, right? It takes a lot of effort to get it moving. But once it's spinning, its own momentum helps keep it going. And every little push makes it spin faster, generate more power. In Heaven's case, the push, the fuel, is that protocol revenue.
Okay.
So when Heaven earns revenue from trading fees, launch fees, whatever, that money doesn't go into a team wallet for them to decide what to do with later. Instead, it's automatically sent to a smart contract. And this smart contract acts like a robot buyer, constantly placing market buy orders for LightGST on Solana's dexes.
A constant buyer in the market.
A constant automated buyer funded directly by the platform's own success. Now, what happens to those tokens after they're bought back is key. Usually, they're either burned, sent to an address nobody can access, effectively destroying them and reducing the total supply forever.
Taking them out of circulation.
Exactly. Or they might be locked into a protocol-controlled treasury, maybe for future strategic initiatives, but crucially, taking them off the open market for a long time. Either way, the available supply shrinks.
Got it. Supply goes down.
Supply goes down. Now, why call it a God flywheel? It's because of the intended cycle. More activity on Heaven, more trades, more launches leads directly to more revenue.
Makes sense.
That increased revenue, remember, 100% of it, drives more automatic buybacks of LightFit. This constant buying pressure, this demand, combined with a shrinking supply, well, basic economics suggests that should push the price up or at least provide strong support. A stable or rising LGH price then makes Heaven more attractive. More users come, more projects want to launch there, more liquidity providers join in hoping to benefit.
Right. Success breeds success.
Precisely. And that new activity generates even more volume, even more revenue, which fuels even more buybacks. You see the loop.
Yeah, it feeds itself, round and round.
Exactly. It's designed as this self-reinforcing cycle. Revenue drives demand. Demand supports price. Price attracts users. Users generate more revenue. Spin the flywheel faster. It's meant to be this perpetual motion machine for value, directly benefiting anyone holding LGHT.
That sounds incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Almost, like you said, a perpetual motion machine.
Yeah.
But those often have friction points, right?
Yes.
Where could this model potentially stumble? And have we seen anything like this work before? Is it totally new?
That's a really important sanity check because, yes, while the design is elegant, these flywheel models aren't magic. They rely heavily on a few key things working consistently. The main friction points or potential failure modes usually come down to two things. First, revenue sustainability.
Okay.
What happens if the market cools off? If trading volume across Solana or crypto in general just plummets for a while, if that revenue, the fuel for the flywheel, dries up, then the buybacks slow down or even stop.
Right. The engine runs out of gas.
Exactly.
Right.
And that weakens the demand pressure, potentially hitting the token price. The flywheel slows down. Second is liquidity depth for the LightHT token itself. Meaning, for those automatic buybacks to work efficiently, there needs to be enough LightHT available to buy on the open market without the buy order itself causing a massive artificial price spike. If liquidity is too thin, the protocol's own buying could become inefficient, costing more SOL per LightHT.
Oh, okay. Needs a healthy market to operate in.
But to your other question, Heaven definitely isn't operating in a vacuum here. They've clearly looked at what's worked elsewhere. It's not a completely novel idea, and you're right to think of precedents. The big one that comes to mind is Hyperliquid.
Hyperliquid, right. The derivative is DEX.
Exactly. Hyperliquid is very successful, and they use a very similar model. They take, I think it's 97% of their trading fees, and use that to buy back their own token, HYPE. And it's been incredibly effective for them in linking the protocol's success directly to the token's value and building a really strong community alignment.
So Heaven took that blueprint and just cranked it up to 100%.
Essentially, yeah. And that difference between 97% and 100% might seem small, but philosophically, it's quite significant.
How so?
Well, with Hyperliquid keeping that 3%, they have a small, consistent stream of revenue going into their treasury that they can use flexibly for development, marketing, maybe operational costs, paying contributors, whatever. It gives them a bit of a safety net funded directly by operations. Heaven, by committing 100% of this revenue stream to buybacks, is making a much bolder statement. It's saying all the value generated here flows directly back to the token. That signals extreme confidence and maximizes the immediate demand pressure and supply reduction for LightGHT.
But it also means...
It also means they have less operational flexibility funded from that specific revenue. They become incredibly reliant on maintaining high volume to keep the flywheel spinning powerfully, and they likely need a strong initial treasury from funding rounds or other sources to cover their ongoing development and operational expenses.
So it's a higher stakes bet.
You could definitely see it that way. It's a maximalist approach. Potentially higher reward for the token if it works, but also maybe higher risk if revenue dips significantly. They're betting everything on the power and efficiency of that flywheel.
Okay. So for us, the curious learner, trying to really grasp the impact here,
Yeah.
what are the intended consequences? What should we expect to see happen with LightGHT and maybe even the wider Heaven ecosystem because of this flywheel? Can you paint a picture?
Sure. The whole design is aimed at creating a really robust and attractive token, fundamentally different from many others out there. The first major expected outcome is significant deflationary pressure.
Meaning the supply keeps shrinking.
Exactly. Because 100% of revenue buys back LAEHT and those tokens are presumably getting burned or locked away, the total number of LAEHT tokens available to trade should continuously decrease over time. Basic economics. Less supply, assuming demand stays constant or grows, generally leads to higher value per unit. Scarcity drives value.
Right. Each token becomes rarer.
Precisely. The second key effect is strong price support. Think about it. The Heaven protocol itself is a constant, guaranteed buyer of its own token in the market. This isn't random speculation. It's programmed, consistent demand directly tied to how much the platform is being used. This acts like a sort of dynamic price floor, potentially smoothing out some of the wild downward swings you see in crypto, especially during market downturns. It provides a level of stability.
Okay, that makes sense. A buffer against volatility.
Yeah, potentially. And the third effect, which might be the most important for the long run, is building huge investor confidence.
How so?
Because the link is so clear, so automatic, so transparent. If you hold LIGH2, you know exactly how the platform's success benefits you. Every trade, every launch fee directly contributes to buying pressure and scarcity for the token you own.
It's not abstract. You see the connection.
Absolutely. It aligns incentives perfectly. This attracts and, crucially, retains long-term investors who are looking for projects with real, sustainable economic models, not just quick flips based on hype. They see a direct stake in the protocol's performance.
So if you were to, visualize this on a chart.
You'd imagine seeing the frequency and size of the LIGHT buybacks directly mirroring spikes in Heaven's revenue. It wouldn't be just random pumps. It would be this foundational, almost constant upward or stabilizing pressure on the price. It changes LIGHT from just another speculative token into something more like a direct share in the platform's success.
That's a powerful model. But okay, beyond these clever, financial mechanics, there's another piece here that seems really crucial for building that long-term trust. And that's coming straight from the Heaven team themselves. They made a big move regarding their own tokens, right? Something about changing how they get unlocked.
Yeah.
Walk us through that. Why is it being called a game changer?
Yeah, this is absolutely critical. Team commitment, especially demonstrated through how they handle their own token allocations, is a massive factor in building long-term viability and trust. The fear of teams dumping tokens early is always there in crypto.
Sure. The rug pull fear.
Exactly. So what the Heaven team did was shift away from the standard linear token unlock schedule.
Okay, what does linear unlock usually mean?
Linear unlock is the common way. Team tokens get released gradually over time. Maybe a certain percentage unlocks every month for, say, 2 or 3 years. It's predictable, but it also means there's this constant, predictable stream of new supply from the team hitting the market.
Right, potential sell pressure.
Heaven's team threw that playbook out. They moved to a revesting model with a 1-year lockup cliff.
Okay, break that down. 1-year lockup cliff.
The cliff is the crucial part here. It means 0 team tokens are unlocked or can be sold for an entire year. 365 days. A complete freeze on team token liquidity.
A full year. Wow.
A full year. In crypto time, that's an eternity. After that 1-year cliff hits, then their tokens start to vest, but under a revesting model.
And revesting means?
It implies that even after the year is up, the tokens don't just all become instantly available. They likely enter new ongoing vesting schedules. So maybe they start unlocking linearly after year 1 over perhaps another couple of years. The key is the lockup isn't just delayed. The entire incentive structure is pushed much further out.
So they're locked in for the long haul.
Absolutely. That 1-year cliff, especially, is an extraordinary statement in this space. It says, we are not here for a quick buck. We are building for the long term, and our financial success is tied directly to the protocol's success well into the future. It aligns their fate directly with the community and the token holders. It's rare, it's impactful, and it builds serious trust.
So why is that shift, specifically the 1-year cliff, seen as so important? What message does it really send? And are there any downsides for the team doing this, locking themselves up so tightly?
It's profoundly important for a bunch of reasons. First and foremost, like we just touched on, it perfectly aligns the team's incentives with everyone else's. They have to make Heaven succeed over the next year and beyond because their own payout depends entirely on it. They literally cannot cash out early, even if they wanted to. They're committed to building value.
Removes the temptation, I guess.
Or at least the ability. Second, It massively reduces short-term sell pressure. That constant drip, drip, drip of team tokens hitting the market, which can really suppress price in the early days of a project, gone. Completely eliminated for the first year.
Okay, that gives the token breathing room.
Huge breathing room. It lets the market find a price based on real demand, real performance, not artificial supply dumps. That offers a big layer of stability and protection for early investors. And third, as we keep saying, it powerfully builds investor confidence.
Right.
This isn't just talk, it's a verifiable on-chain commitment. It screams integrity, dedication, long-term vision. If you visualize it, the old linear unlock is a steady downward slope of available team tokens from day one. The new model is a flat line at 0 for a whole year. That visual difference tells a powerful story about reduced risk.
Yeah, you can really see the difference.
Now, are there downsides for the team? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This isn't without sacrifice on their part.
Like what?
Well, it massively restricts their personal financial flexibility. What if they need funds for an unexpected personal emergency? What if they need to quickly raise capital for the project itself by selling some team tokens due to an unforeseen opportunity or crisis? They can't, at least not easily with their personal allocation locked up.
Ties their hands a bit.
It demands extremely careful financial planning for the project's treasury and operations. They have to rely on their initial funding or other revenue streams, not their own locked tokens. But interestingly, that very constraint reinforces the signal. It forces them to be lean, strategic, and absolutely focused on making the protocol generate revenue, which, remember, feeds the flywheel. So the constraint itself reinforces the commitment. It's a bold move.
And it seems like the market really responded to that boldness. We saw some pretty immediate, pretty dramatic results after this lockup news came out, didn't we?
Oh, the reaction was explosive. It really shows how much the market craves this kind of tangible commitment. Femex News reported that LightGHT's market cap just soared. We're talking 550% in 1 week.
550% in a week.
Yeah. That's not just positive sentiment. That's a fundamental reevaluation of the project's potential value, directly triggered by that lockup news. The market essentially said, okay, this significantly de-risks the project and boosts its long-term prospects.
Incredible.
And there was another metric that jumped out. Nearly 48% of the total LightGH supply is now reported as locked.
Almost half a supply.
Almost half. Now, that's not just the team's locked tokens. That figure suggests a huge amount is also being held long-term by investors, maybe staked, maybe providing liquidity with the intent to hold. It indicates really strong holding sentiment across the board.
So low circulating supply, strong holding.
Exactly. You combine that widespread locking and holding with the team's own lockup, and you have a scenario with dramatically reduced available supply. And what happens when you have low supply meeting the constant demand from the God flywheel?
Upward pressure on price.
That's the theory. So these numbers, the market cap jump, the locked supply, they directly reflect this surge in confidence. It shows that these strategic commitments, the tokenomics, and the team lockup aren't just nice ideas. They translate directly into market value and community trust.
Okay, so Heaven's got this powerful internal engine building trust.
Yeah.
But it's not operating alone, right? It's stepping into the ring, so to speak, in the Solana Launchpad arena. And the reigning champ there, for a long time, has been Pump.fun.
Pump.fun. Yeah, the name was everywhere.
Right. They were known for just sheer dominance, leading in revenue. Before we get into how Heaven is challenging them, can you just paint a quick picture?
Right.
What was Pump.fun's deal? How did they get so dominant?
Yeah, understanding Pump.fun is key to seeing the significance of Heaven's rise. For ages, Pump.fun was the Solana Launchpad scene for a certain type of project. Its dominance came from being incredibly accessible, super fast, and honestly pretty viral.
Accessible how?
It basically let almost anyone launch a token with minimal tech knowledge, really low cost, incredibly quickly. It democratized token creation on Solana.
Okay.
Their core thing was this unique bonding curve model. A new token starts with tiny liquidity. As people buy, the price automatically goes up along this curve. If it hit a certain market cap, I think it was around 69K. Yeah. It would automatically get proper liquidity added and listed on Radium, a major Solana DEX. So it created this gamified, high-speed, often highly speculative environment. Buy early, hope it hits the Radium target, maybe make a quick profit.
So geared towards speed and maybe memes.
Very much so. Its genius was its simplicity and that viral loop. It became the absolute go-to for meme coins, for experimental ideas, for community projects that just wanted to get out there fast without worrying too much about complex tokenomics or vesting.
Right, get it launched, see what happens.
Exactly. It tapped right into that speculative energy of early stage crypto.
Mhm.
Huge user base looking for those quick 10x, 100x plays. And because it was so easy to launch, it facilitated a massive number of tokens. That sheer volume generated significant fee revenue for Pump.fun and just cemented its position as the default choice for that fast, often meme-driven launch. It really owned that niche.
Okay, so that's the Titan, the established giant. But Heaven isn't just like nibbling at the edges. It sounds like it's landing some real punches.
Yeah.
Reports say Heaven captured 3 of the top 5 most valuable tokens launched recently.
Mm-hmm.
And Femex News also said Heaven set a record, 8,970 tokens launched on its platform, grabbing a 28% market share.
Yeah.
What do those stats tell you? Is this a real challenge?
Oh, it's absolutely a real challenge. This is where Heaven transitions from just being impressive for a newcomer to being a genuine, serious contender that's directly taking market share. Let's break that down. Capturing 3 of the top 5 most valuable tokens, that phrase most valuable, is key. In the IDO world, that usually means projects that don't just pump and dump. They achieve a significant market cap after launch, they maintain strong trading volume, they attract real liquidity, and they hold investor interest beyond just the first few hours.
So not just quantity, but quality launches.
Exactly. It signals that Heaven isn't just a factory for churning out thousands of short-lived tokens. It's attracting and successfully launching projects perceived as having more substance, more potential. That's a very different value proposition than Pumpfun's traditional focus. It suggests serious projects are choosing Heaven.
Interesting distinction.
Yeah.
And the market share, 28%.
Yeah, 28% market share, achieved almost overnight, is extraordinary. Think about it. Nearly 1 out of every 3 new tokens launched on Solana during that period chose Heaven. To take that big a slice from an incumbent as dominant as Pump.fun was, that's huge. It immediately puts Heaven on the map as a major strategic player in Solana IDOs. It tells you that project creators, maybe the more savvy ones, and their communities are actively deciding, okay, Heaven's model, the Flywheel, the team lockup looks better for us long term.
So they're being chosen deliberately.
It seems that way. It's not just random growth. It feels like a strategic capture of market share. Heaven is offering something different, something focused perhaps more on sustainability and value accrual, and a significant part of the market is clearly responding to that. It shows they're appealing to projects that maybe want more than just the Pump.fun experience.
So putting it all together, Heaven's making serious inroads, attracting quality projects, grabbing significant market share. Do you see this ending with Heaven basically replacing Pump.fun as the top dog? Or is it more like they're carving out separate territories within the Solana Launchpad world? Is it a fight to the death, or can they coexist?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How this rivalry shakes out will really shape the Solana launch scene. My sense right now is that it's probably less about a complete replacement and more about a significant market shift and potentially a specialization.
Okay. Specialization how?
Well, look at their core philosophies. Heaven, with its 100% buyback flywheel, the serious team lockup. It screams stability, long-term alignment, sustainable value. It naturally appeals to projects and investors who prioritize those things.
Right. The more serious end of the market.
You could frame it that way. Maybe projects with more complex plans, bigger ambitions, or communities that want to see clear mechanisms for value capture in the token itself. Heaven could become the go-to for these premium or built-to-last launches. Blockmates even mention Heaven having specific categories for creators and communities, suggesting they might be curating or targeting certain types of projects that fit this ethos.
Okay. And Pump.fun.
Pumpfun might very well continue to dominate the other end of the spectrum. The ultra-fast, super experimental, meme-driven launches where speed and ease of access are absolutely paramount.
The Wild West stays the Wild West.
Exactly. There's always going to be huge demand for that kind of rapid-fire innovation. And yes, speculation, Pump.fun created that market, and they're incredibly good at serving it. Their bonding curve model is still very effective for that specific use case.
But there's overlap, surely.
Oh, absolutely. The competition is direct, especially for those higher potential projects, those most valuable tokens. As Heaven proves it can launch winners and offers arguably better long-term tokenomics, it's going to pull projects, developers, and liquidity away from Pump.fun, especially those who might have started on Pump.fun purely for ease but now want something more sophisticated for their community.
So pressure on Pump.fun to adapt.
Definitely. But the bigger picture is actually really healthy for Solana. This competition is fantastic news. It gives projects more choices, potentially forces platforms to offer better terms, better tech, more transparency. It pushes everyone to innovate.
Right. Competition drives improvement.
Exactly. So rather than one killing the other, I see it more as the market bifurcating, splitting into maybe two main lanes, but with fierce competition where those lanes overlap. It leads to a more mature, diverse, and ultimately stronger Launchpad ecosystem on Solana.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So let's try and synthesize all this. We've got Heaven's incredible speed and volume, this really clever, potentially powerful light HD God Flywheel, team's bold lockup commitment demonstrating trust, and now this intense competition shaking up the established order with Pump.fun. What's the big takeaway here? What does this all add up to for the bigger picture? Is Heaven setting a new standard?
I think it absolutely is setting a new standard, or at least challenging the old ones in a very profound way. When you put all those pieces together, what Heaven is doing is essentially providing a new blueprint, a more sophisticated model for how launchpads can operate and build lasting value.
A new blueprint how?
By powerfully combining that effective revenue to token feedback loop, the 100% buyback flywheel linking success directly to token value, with that undeniable signal of long-term team commitment via the lockup, it's a 1-2 punch. This combination is explicitly designed to tackle the biggest challenges in the space. Building real investor confidence, ensuring the platform's success actually benefits token holders, aligning team incentives perfectly, and reducing that dreaded early sell pressure. It promotes sustainable growth through constant program demand for the token.
So it's about foundational design, not just hype.
Precisely. It moves the conversation beyond just how much hype can we generate for launch to how is this system designed to capture and return value over the long term. It emphasizes smart tokenomics, ethical team behavior, and transparent mechanisms. In that sense, yes, Heaven is absolutely raising the bar. It's showing other projects, other launchpads, what's possible when you build trust and value capture right into the core architecture. It's a case study in long-term thinking in Web3.
Okay, so for you, listening right now, maybe you're deep into crypto, maybe you're an investor thinking about Solana, maybe you're even part of a team planning your own token launch. What are the key lessons here? Why should you care about Heaven's story?
That's the critical question, right? Why does this matter to you? I think there are implications across the board.
Yeah.
For new projects planning to launch, Heaven's success signals that the bar is being raised. You can't just launch a token anymore and hope for the best. Savvy investors and communities are going to increasingly expect well-thought-out tokenomics that capture value, like Heaven's Flywheel. They'll look for clear team vesting schedules and commitments that show you're in it for the long haul. It pushes projects to design better from the start.
So more pressure on founders to get it right.
Definitely. For investors, Heaven's story is a masterclass in due diligence. It teaches you to look beyond the surface hype, beyond just the initial volume pump. You need to dig into the tokenomics. How does the token actually accrue value from the platform's activity? Look at the team's vesting. Are their incentives aligned with yours? Are they locked in? Heaven shows that these foundational elements, the flywheel, the lockup, can be incredibly powerful indicators of potential long-term stability and growth. It encourages deeper research.
Look under the hood, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, for the Solana ecosystem as a whole, Heaven's emergence and its competition with Pumpfun is incredibly bullish. It shows the ecosystem is maturing, diversifying, it's attracting sophisticated projects and fostering innovation in DeFi infrastructure. This kind of competition makes the entire Solana space stronger, more resilient, and more attractive for builders and users alike. Ultimately, this whole story encourages all of us to think more critically about what makes a Web3 project truly valuable and trustworthy. It's pushing towards a future where sustainable design and genuine commitment matter just as much, if not more, than the initial launch fireworks.
What a fantastic breakdown. An incredible story unfolding, really, with Heaven on Solana lessons in speed, innovation, trust, and competition. We've covered that mind-bending volume. We've dug into the mechanics of the Lake T God flywheel and really highlighted how significant that team lockup truly is. It's a really integrated approach to building value.
It really is. And it leaves us with a fascinating question, doesn't it? Given everything we've seen with Heaven, the volume, the flywheel, the lockup, what ultimately matters more for a launchpad's long-term success? Is it that initial explosive traction, the sheer volume and hype? Or is it having that robust deflationary token model combined with rock-solid long-term team commitment? Where should the focus really be?
Ooh, that's a great question to chew on. Really gets to the core of value in this space. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the heaven phenomenon. We really hope you found this useful, maybe got you thinking.
Hmm.
And hey, if you did find this valuable, if you enjoyed this breakdown, could you do us a quick favor? Take a second to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and maybe click the notification bell.
Yeah, it genuinely helps.
It really does. Your comments, your likes, your engagement, it tells the algorithms that people find this useful. It helps more people discover the deep dive. And frankly, it lets us keep making this kind of in-depth crypto content for you week after week.
Yeah,
We seriously appreciate your support.
we do.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions, and always, always stay curious.